Okay, I guess Wonder Woman 3 isn't happening. That's right, we're talking about Wonder Woman once again in the news after we just heard from Gal Gadot at another interview that Peter Safran and James Gunn were all working on a Wonder Woman 3 with her. We're also going to take a look at the updated Blue Beetle numbers. Maybe it's going to have a big weekend. We'll find out. My name's Eric. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, become part of the Eric-verse, leave a like and a comment down below. With that being said, let's look at this interview from Variety. All right, I'm so utterly confused. This is the same kind of nonsense that really bogged down the DCEU. If you're a fan of that DCEU era, then you'll know that a lot of the issues with it was the uncertainty around projects. There was a lot of stuff coming out that was supposed to happen, then it never happened, and then it was still happening, but they were changing it. Writers, directors, actors, all flip-flopping around. These were things that made the DCEU feel so utterly disjointed. And here we are with a character and an actor from that era of DC again, getting caught up in this, like, is it gonna happen, is it not gonna happen stuff. And I don't think that's good for the studio. I don't think it's good for James Gunn or Peter Safran, DC, Warner Brothers, or Gal Gadot. Now, this is a Variety exclusive. I wanna say that Variety, more times than not, is reliable. They're not above reproach. None of these outlets are. But Variety typically has multiple ways to confirm information and sources and things like that. Maybe they did that this time, maybe they didn't. I don't totally know. But I will say they're calling this an exclusive, and they're debunking what Gal Gadot said. And this is gonna be problematic. Let's read what they said here, and then we'll kind of go through all this. Wonder Woman 3 won't fly in the new DC universe. No shit. She jumps from lightning bolt to lightning bolt with her lasso. Didn't you see Wonder Woman 84? Despite Gal Gadot teasing development plans. Says here, is a third Wonder Woman movie on the way from Warner Brothers and DC Studios? Not quite. That's conflicting. Despite recent comments from Gal Gadot claiming DC heads James Gunn and Peter Safran told her they would develop Wonder Woman 3 together, sources with knowledge of the situation tell Variety that is not the case. According to the sources, it says sources, so I'm assuming it's multiple. It's not one person, it's multiple people. A third Wonder Woman film is not in development at DC Studios, nor do Gunn and Safran have plans at this time for any Wonder Woman project in the new DC universe, other than the previously announced Paradise Lost prequel series for Max. That's a series that we're still not really totally sure like what it's going to be. Paradise Lost. This is going to be like a Game of Thrones thing with the Mascara and the Amazons. I don't know what that's going to be. Well, we have literally almost no information on that. But we were surmising that somehow that, you know, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was going to tie into that prequel series and that we were going to pull all that together. That was something that a lot of people thought was going to happen. But essentially here, what's happening is that this is throwing a little shade towards Gal Gadot, maybe even throwing her under the bus a little bit, because she's the one that made the statement about this. And we're going to read that here in a second. I'm going to reiterate what she said. So whoever this source is, they're coming out and going, hey, look, by the way, that didn't happen. Who would know that? What source would have that information other than the three people that were mentioned in the original statement? Because they're calling Gal Gadot a liar at this point, basically. They're just calling her a liar, saying that everything she said is false. Let's reiterate what was said by Gal Gadot here. Gadot first suggested that Wonder Woman 3 might not be fully dead in an interview with comicbook.com. I love portraying Wonder Woman. It's so close and dear to my heart from what I've heard. What I've heard from James and Peter is that we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together. So she's saying, from what I heard from James and from Peter, is that we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together. So she's saying in this quote here that she heard directly from James Gunn, directly from Peter Safran. So unless she's pulling out some bullshit and lying, which is what this other source is suggesting, she talked directly to the people in charge of all of this. And here it goes. I was invited to a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and what they told me, and I'm quoting, "You're in the best hands. We're going to develop Wonder Woman 3 with you. We love you as Wonder Woman. You got nothing to worry about. So time will tell." Now, the time will tell. Okay, I will admit that part does sound a little bit like we're not sure, we're not certain. But the thing is that she did actually meet with them. A meeting did happen. So because of this meeting, that tells me that she's giving direct information from the horse's mouth. However, the source is shading her and saying, no, that's not true. There's nothing in development. So who's telling the truth here? Are we supposed to believe Gal Gadot or this anonymous source? More times than not, if you look at the track record, when it comes to projects like this, the actors that are involved don't always have the best track record of providing accurate information for their projects. They just don't. Typically, the directors or the executive producers or the studio executives are the ones that have the right information. The actors are as much as they are involved with stuff, a lot of times they're so far down the line that by the time something gets to them, it might have already changed at the top end. And that could be the case here. But the reality is we're dealing with a strike right now. We're dealing with the writer's strike. We're dealing with the actor's strike. So where is this information? Like, is the studio making these decisions outside of the strike happening? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Because for me, I don't know what's absolutely happening with this, but it sounds like there's a lot of shade going on. This kind of this disconnect, this information being wrong and things like that, that is really what bogged down DC through their DCEU days. I don't want to see that carry over into the DCU. And if keeping Gal Gadot, as much as I love her, you guys know I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. If keeping her is going to cause this kind of discourse, let her go. Just let it go. Remove everything from the DCEU that includes all of the stuff that James Gunn has wanted to bring back with Peacemaker and stuff like that. Remove all of that stuff and just do a clean slate. If any of this baggage that is holding on is going to bog down the vision and the fidelity of the new DCU, then we need to let it go. Like the song. I'm not going to sing it because I'm not trying to get a copyright strike. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think down below about this Wonder Woman situation. Do you believe the source? Do you believe Gal Gadot? How do you feel about it? I know we've talked about this a little bit earlier in the week, but I'm curious if anybody's had a chance to think about this and how do you like, which side do you fall on? Which hashtag team are you supporting here? Who are you co-signing? All right, so Blue Beetle is in a weird situation. We've heard that Blue Beetle, this version of Blue Beetle, is going to be the first DCU character. However, not the first DCU movie, which is still kind of confusing to me. Don't roast me in the comments. I know people are going to be like, well, Eric, it's very easy. No, it's confusing. It's confusing as fuck. However, this movie was originally tracking to have a 17 million opening weekend, which would have been absolutely devastating. The movie's going to cost around 120 budget-wise. It's around 120 million for this movie. So a 17 million opening on the first weekend, just like for the whole weekend, would have been a disaster. There's no way it could have dug itself out of that hole. No way possible. However, it looks like as of a few days ago that it's eyeing up to be 30 million box office opening in the US, which puts it in a trajectory where if it does decent in international numbers, that it could actually make the budget. They could make the budget back. Now, whether or not it makes budget plus advertising plus all that, we don't know. We're not sure yet. This movie would have to do somewhere in the 300 to 400 million range for it to be considered a moderate success for DC and Warner Bros. I don't think it has legs. I don't think it's going to do that. Something in my gut just tells me that this movie doesn't have the ability to generate that kind of money. But look, we're seeing some weird stuff. Barbie is a billion-dollar movie, 1.1 billion, I think, as it stands. Oppenheimer's saying now that it's going to be a $900 million movie, which is absolutely bonkers. Other movies like Elemental ended up doing really well at the box office. The TMNT movie, which started out slow, seems to be getting some good reviews and things like that. So maybe this movie will do good as well. Maybe this one will be a sleeper hit and it'll do good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's where I'm going to wrap all this up. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. How you feel about Wonder Woman? What do you think about Blue Beetle? Let me know everything in the comment section down below. That's pretty much it. I'll see everybody in the next video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff that everybody on YouTube tells you to do. Do it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Take care.